good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you're watching, what time zone you're watching this video from. So any of those greetings applies to you. Thank you for joining in our webinar again. We've been doing this webinar since January, every Thursday for the past 7 to 8 months. And it's a pleasure to have you joining tonight. And for those that are watching, it's a pleasure to have you watch us. And I want to say thank you to Milker. Milker joined in like 57 minutes before time. I had to tell her, she's joining in from Kenya. I had to tell her it is GMT plus 1, 7 p.m., which is 9 p.m. her time. And yes, she came back. She's here again. So thank you, Milker, for joining. And today we're going to be looking at how to discover how to achieve ROI and ROE on every training investment. This is something I did so I'm not here, I'm not in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. I'm in Rwanda. I came for a breakfast meeting, which is something I've been doing since May this year. Part of the TTE I've been telling you about, the Training Transfer Effectiveness Movement. It's a movement and it's catching fire and is on the move. And if you've not joined it, you're losing out. So it is a Training Transfer Effectiveness Movement, and we're going around Africa to spread the news of training transfer effectiveness. We're in Ghana in May, we're in Nigeria, Lagos in June. Now, August, we are in Rwanda. We just had it today at 4 Points by Sheraton in Kigali. And next month we'll be in Kenya. So if not for what we've signed up for, we've decided to do this, I won't be in this webinar today because I am exhausted. I am exhausted. Yes. Let it not seem as if Kusanja is like every Thursday she's exhausted. That's the life of the entrepreneur. We are on the move. That's our life. Right? So right now, and I knew people would join. So you can imagine if I decided to cancel the webinar and Milker joined like 57 minutes before time. So you can imagine you turn down somebody because I am tired. So we decided to, in tiredness, we will still have the webinar. In sickness, we will still have the webinar. In weakness, we will still have the webinar. So if we are doing the sacrifice, this is also showing you those are sacrificing to be here to learn. We are in this journey together and we want you to become better HR professionals, better L&D professionals, better consultants to be able to offer your services in world-class standard. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. We are all grateful and appreciate your sac for this course. God bless you. God bless you too, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for your kind words. You always have kind words for us. Thank you so much. And so it was a wonderful being. This is my first time in Rwanda. Beautiful country, peaceful, very clean, very cold. It's a lovely country. And we are here. We're going to be here back in Rwanda in December again. So we're going to look at so I'm going to share what I shared with them. So that was the easiest way for me to ensure that I will have this webinar. I didn't want to start up something else again, right? So when my voice drops, please have pardon me. And pardon me if you see my voice is dropping, I don't have that energy you get to hear. Please pardon me. Someone said in Rwanda said to me, how do maybe when I get connected with you, I have this energy you have. How can a woman have this kind of energy? It was a man, by the way. And I just laughed. I said, you never see anything. These are Nigerian women. We have energy is worrying us. We have over energy. Right? So good. Let's move on. So welcome. So glad you are here. And let me see if we have new people joining in. If we have new people joining in, I don't think we have any new people. Milka joined last 2 weeks, so she's not new. Titi is our lost and found member that kept coming. She's one of our early birds that started, so she's not a new person. Then I think I saw someone. Okay, so that means there's no new person here. Lush top, these are old people, but that's their AI coming. Okay, awesome. So since there's no new person, there's no need of me sharing my profile. So I'll just skip my profile because you already know me. And I would always put this. I said, difficult roads leads to beautiful destinations. Yeah, difficult roads leads to beautiful destination. That's why um, Milker is 2 hours ahead of us. Okay, yes, ahead of Nigerian time. So it's 9 p.m. her time. While in Rwanda here, it's 8 p.m. So 9 p.m. her time, and she's here because of the value she wants to get. Titi is all the way in Canada, and she's here because of the value she wants to get. And myself, also, Emmanuel, the time in Ghana is like past 7. I'm sure he's just coming back from work and he's here. Same thing with Samson. He's just coming back from work and he's here. So these are the sacrifices we make because of what we want to get. So thank you, everyone. And let's keep making the sacrifices. We will get where we want to go. I don't think we have any old person that attended last week that is here today. So this is what we do every week. You know that we do a follow up because this is an application webinar. A webinar whereby everything you have learned and you're learning, you are applying it. A must. Okay, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, you cannot run away. Emmanuel was here last week. So Emmanuel, what practical tip did you carry out between last week and this week? Share with us. Emmanuel was the only person that was here. Oh, was Mora? I can see Mora joined us now. Mora, were you here last week? Please type into chat if you were here last week. Emmanuel was here. I can't miss Emmanuel. Emmanuel, what one thing have you gained?
Oh, good.
Yes, so
Yeah. Good. Thank you for the opportunity.
yeah.
I really want to sincerely apologize there. Sorry, to appreciate the efforts you are putting in, and we are so grateful. I think the impact is so great in my life and in my organization with my team.
Wow.
I sent you a sample of an engagement because anytime I tried that, I ensure that every time I learn something, I try to put it to work. In fact, you have been my source of inspiration. And so last week, I think I made an appointment with an organization which I shared the other time that immediately they told me to come and do a training. I told them that I'll need to have a conversation with them. And so I drafted my conversation. I had to go and listen to the videos, at least 2 of them. I listened very well over and over, getting the points, pausing, making notes, and then I
Mm,
wrote down my conversation points. I
mm,
prepared myself very well. I sent the questions to her in advance. That's the HR for an eye. It's an optical service company. There are a
mm,
lot of branches. And so she had time, the HR had time, and I did the conversation. What
mm,
they want, what they expect to do, who are those going to be working with these people I'm going to train.
mm,
And then in fact, I armed myself and then I got and harvested a lot of information which we are yet to take off. And so I am ready set to help the organization to make ROI and ROE. So please, I am happy for this webinar. It seems I want to encourage, if you don't do your exam, if you don't take steps, the next webinar will never be put into perspective for you. So I encourage that anybody who joins should try to take a step. And because I've been taking steps, everything that is being shared makes sense to me. And today I'm going to get I'm going to go further. Thank you, Coach, for the opportunity. The
wow.
value is so
Thank you so much. Emmanuel, whenever you're here, I'm so glad. I'm not being partial, please. Emmanuel is just such a breath of air. He's that kind of student. Emmanuel, I'm looking for Tadam for you. He's that kind of student that every teacher will want. A student that as the teacher is teaching, the student is getting it and is passing. So Emmanuel is such a wonderful person since he started. And by the way, Emmanuel is our TTE coordinator in Ghana. Emmanuel has been on the move. pushing me. Coach, let's start. Let's start. I say, Emmanuel, cool down, cool down. He's been inviting people, telling people to come for the webinar. He's putting things. He even put together a structure because I told him, man, I want to develop a structure first. Let it not just be like any other WhatsApp platform that we are getting value. He even came up with something, a write-up I was like, Emmanuel, were you inside my head that you're able to do this? So he's waiting patiently for me, he's the one pushing me. Come up with the structures, coach. Let us start. Let us start. So Emmanuel, thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate you. And we say this movement is so grateful. We are so grateful to have you in Ghana. And we thank you so much. And we know there are greater things ahead for you, for us together, working together. And you know what we've talked about. So Emmanuel, so saying thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate you. Okay, I think Emmanuel is the only person that was here last week that is here today. Mora, were you here last week? I don't know if you're here. Were you here last week or is this your first time? If you cannot unmute your microphone, you can type into chat. Then Roger, I think Roger, this should be your first time joining us. Okay, I see something in chat. Okay. Thank you, Emmanuel. Coach and your team have inspired me for excellence. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Okay, we cannot hear from Mora, so let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's move on. So what we usually also do is every week we review the last week. With that, we help you. At least you have an idea of what we did last week. That could also help you. Okay, Mora, this is your first time. Oh, okay. And I've already passed over. And I know this is Rogen's first time too. I usually introduce myself for first timers, but I've passed that slide. And so maybe you watch this video later. So something, please type in our our YouTube channel. Also type in our website, type in our info, type in all the details they need. Our websites, our social media handles, so that they can follow us. Also my social media handle, LinkedIn, type it in please so that they can follow us, and also type in our email address in case they want to reach out to us. So last week, what we talked about in the webinar last week is what, how can I help you? I didn't teach anything new. I was asking people, how can I help you? And so people asked some questions and I was able to answer, respond to their questions, and we shared because I know that a lot of HR and L&D, what is blocking, there are things that are stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve in your organization. That things are stopping you from being the HR and the L&D you're supposed to be. And so we looked at those. What are those things blocking your results? How can I help you fix it? So that was what exactly we looked at last week. So now we'll move on to this week. Africa is not suffering from a lack of training problem. Do you agree with that? Africa is not suffering from a lack of training problem. What do you think? Africa is not suffering from a lack of training problem. What do you think we are suffering from? As a country, as a continent, what do you think we are suffering from? Even in your country, is it that you people don't do training in your organization? I'm sure you do training. You offer training services for your employees. So what do you think Africa is suffering from? Anybody? You can unmute your microphone. Okay, Emmanuel says lack of action. Okay, I see somebody unmuting. Okay, Titi, yes. No, Titi, did you want to share something? I can see your, okay. So maybe you didn't. So Emmanuel says lack of action. Emmanuel, yes, that's it. Lack of action. So let me now put it in the words I say, just what Emmanuel said. So this is what Africa is suffering from. We are suffering from a training transfer effectiveness problem. Okay, no problem, Titi. Thank you. She said she will drop it in the chat. Thank you. Execution issues. Yes, Titi, thank you so much. That is what we are suffering from. We are suffering from execution, implementation, lack of action. What Emmanuel and what Titi said. That's what we are suffering from. And that thing Emmanuel said, which he called lack of action and which Titi called execution issues, is what we call training transfer effectiveness. So we are suffering from a training transfer effectiveness problem. So when I say TTE, take note, that is what it means. So we are suffering from a training transfer effectiveness problem. And for those who are new on this webinar, I know you'll be asking, what does training transfer effectiveness mean? Don't worry, I will tell you very soon. In short, I will not even tell you. I will ask the old timers to tell you. Yes, I think that's what I will do. I will not tell you. I'll ask the old timers to tell you. So my mission as Africa's voice on leading training transfer, Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. My mission is to shift organizations from event-based training as an event. Let's tick the box. Let's meet our training quota. Let us finish our training budget. That's an event. From an event-based training to an impactful training. And a training that will give impact, that there will be an impact in the business. There will be an impact in productivity. Because see, if there's an impact in productivity, invariably, there will, and there shall be an impact in the business. That's what it is. If there's an impact in productivity, productivity increases, invariably, there will be an impact in the performance of the business. There will be an impact in the bottom line of the business. There'll be an impact in the revenue. It trickles, right? So that is what we are suffering from. Training transfer effectiveness problem. Okay, I see something in the chat box. Let me look at it before I continue. Okay. So great. Now let's continue. I'm going to share data. How many of us don't like data? HR and L and HR, people don't like data. Just be truthful. I will not call your name. This is being recorded, so I don't want to call your name. Just type into chat and I will just respond. So I'm looking at the chat box. How many of us don't like data? Either you say, Coach Sandra, I don't really like data, but now you're talking about it. Maybe I should start liking data. Or you say, I love data. Or no, you say, I like data, not love. Then you say, well, I don't. So how many of us love data?
Hey, shift fast and pass by.
Is there anybody that wants to share? Samson, please be able to mute. Okay. Anyone that is speaking, just mute. Maybe the person unmuted from unknowingly. Nobody's responding. Oh, that means people don't love data. If you don't love data, you must love data. As HR, as L&D, as consultant, whether you like it or not, you must love data. By fire, by force. Titi says data is life. That's it. Data is life. You must love data. HR people, you don't like data. You must love data. L&D, you must love data. So I'm going to show you the data on training spend for you to understand the importance of showing ROI and ROE for your training investment. In order for you not to allow your training investment to go into training scrap. In order to don't allow your training investment to go to what? Training scrap. And what is training scrap? Training scrap was a term I coined. I coined it from learning scrap, which was also coined by Roy Pollocks, Roy Pollocks. Roy Pollocks wrote a book called The 6 Disciplines of I've forgotten. Samson, please quickly go online and check Roy Pollocks, the name of his book. So Roy is ROY, Pollocks, Pollocks. The 6 disciplines of, I think, of execution or so. I'm not too sure. So let me get it right so I don't give us a wrong distance. So Roy Pollocks talked about learning scrap. Then, now, before Roy Pollock talked about learning scrap, there was someone that came up with the term scrap learning, and he came up with it in the 1950s. So now Roy Pollock, when he wrote his book, The Six Disciplines, Samson is going to give me the other name. When he wrote the book, he came up with learning scrap. I am a training. I am more interested in training. As a person and as an organization, we are looking at training for the next 6 years between now and 2030. We all know that training is not the same thing as learning and development. Training is just a subset, a component of L&D. Training is just one of the ways to grow people in the organizations. Training under L&D, we have the different means to grow the people in the organizations are training, coaching, mentoring. These are ways. So training is a subset, is a component of L&D. So because I am interested more in training, I coined the term training scrap. And what is training scrap? Training scrap is that portion of training that was never applied in the organization. It's a waste. Scrap is waste. So that portion of training, yeah, no, but check for the name of the book, Samson. I saw what you wrote, but that's not it. Check for the name of the book. So just by Roy Pollock, just write the name, 6 Disciplines of something. Please check for the name of the book. So that is what training scrap is. So that portion of training that is not applied in the business, that's training scrap. And so we want to end training scrap for your business. A lot of organizations, even your business, all those on this call, your businesses their training are turning into training scrap because you're not applying. Who wants to challenge me on that? There'll be no one, because a lot of you in your organizations, you're not applying the training, your employees are not applying the training, and you're not showing ROI or ROE for your training investment. So the 6 disciplines of learning, breakthrough learning. I don't know if it is breakthrough learning. Okay, if that's what you saw. So it's the 6 disciplines by Roy Pollock. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now, just last year, 2024, all this data, I'll give you the where I got it. Go online and check it. I make use of Harvard Business Review. I make use of Training Magazine. I make use of using the training industry. I make use of McKinsey reports. These are where I get reports and research, and other ones are not even well known. Yeah, other ones are not well known. Read HRL&D. Read research. Read 3 billion was spent on training by organizations in East Africa, in the Middle East. In the Middle East of Africa. Just last year, $3 billion. And a lot of organizations, CEOs complain they cannot see returns. Do you know what $3 billion is? I'm already doing the calculation in my head in Nigeria. By the time I multiply it, in Rwanda where I am, $1 is 1,450 Rwanda francs. In Nigeria, $1 is 1,560. So calculate 3 billion times that amount. That means in Rwanda and in Nigeria, our money is so much. Our money is so much. So $3 billion was spent. $3 billion was spent on training by organizations. And this is where I got it. From Daily News, Egypt. This is where I got it. Then in the US, $98 billion was spent on training by organizations in the US. $98 billion. This is also where I got it. So can you imagine the monies that are spent on training? Now, why? Let me even ask. Let me pause and ask. Why do organizations spend this so much money on training? Who wants to go? Please, you can unmute your microphone. Why do organizations spend this much on training? Why? Why? Is there anybody that wants to try?
Hello, coach. Can I try?
Yes. Please go ahead, Emmanuel. Thank you for the rescue.
Yeah, I think that most people think that training will solve
most of their performance problems. And so they push money into it. They invest much into it because they think if they can train more, they can achieve more.
Great. Thank you so much. So for growth, they want to grow. But what happens after they spend so much? What is happening when they are spending so much? What's happening? Manuel, do you want to complete it? What's happening? After spending so much on training, what's happening? What are we seeing? We are seeing that this money is turning into training scrap because there are no returns. Returns are not being shown. This is why organizations spend money. Just like what Emmanuel said, this is why organizations spend money. They want to grow because they believe that they spend money on their staff, they train their staff, they will grow. They want to grow. That's why they're spending so much money. Okay, Titi said for growth. Yes, Titi, thank you so much. As if you saw my slide, Titi. Yeah, for growth. That's why they're spending so much money. And what are we doing? What is happening? We are not helping our businesses to grow. Now, let me ask a very key question. Think about your last training. How many of your staff has applied what they learned on the job? Then if you're a consultant in this room, a trainer, think of the last training you did. How many of the staff in that organization applied what they learned? Who wants to try? Who wants to go? How many of the staff applied what they learned on the job? Samson, it seems tonight again, nobody will be talking again. It's only Emmanuel has been talking. Is it
Yeah.
because it is a topic a lot of people don't know that people always allow only me to be talking? It's becoming boring. I should not be the only one talking. Emmanuel, thank you for coming to the rescue again.
All right. Thank you. So, my last training I did for a company. I think they manufacture different kinds of drinks. They made me to come and train them in office management, and it was an eye opening. And so I did that training. After I wanted to do a follow up, they couldn't make time for me at all, just to know whether they are. They didn't make time for me. They were just continuing with their set. And so now I've followed up several times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So you can see, one thing I like about Emmanuel is he's truthful. And he doesn't mind. If he doesn't get it, he says it. He's not hiding. He's being vulnerable. He's being himself. You can see what happened. He finished training them and now he's the one wanting to follow up on them. They are not giving him time. Everybody has gone to their old ways. You see that's training scrap. It will go to scrap because they will not use it. Nothing will happen. Nothing will change. And so that's why TTE, the second model which I designed, which is a PDP model, the pre-training, during training, post-training transfer effectiveness model. The model says, even before you start any training, I agree with the organization that if they are not ready for ROI and ROE, don't go into it. Maybe you will come there one day. At this stage in life where I am, I've paid my dues. That's where I am. If you're not ready for ROI and ROE, I will not do that training. And so you design everything. So you don't need to chase anybody because at the beginning, at the pre-stage, pre-training, so there are 3 phases of training: pre-training, during training, and post-training. So at the pre-phase of the pre-training phase of training, you design even all the support you will give them after training. It is designed, it is agreed, it is decided before training has started. So who are you going to be chasing? You're not chasing anybody. Everybody has agreed. They've all signed. After training, everybody continues. So thank you so much for sharing, man. And I see something. Titi typed something on the chat. And she says, very few, maybe 25%. That's it. Thank you so much for sharing, Titi. Very few. Now, my other question is, how many have consistently applied? The first thing I asked was, how many applied what they learned? Maybe they just came back from training and they applied it. Now, my second question is, How many have consistently applied what they learned on the job? How many have consistently applied what they learned on the job? Your guess is as good as mine. Let me continue because I cannot wait for you people. Your guess is as good as mine. And my third question is, if they did, how do you know they really did apply it? That's my question. I would have challenged whoever is telling me they applied it consistently. Okay. Now the next question would have been, how do you know they really applied it? Data. If you cannot answer that question, I will not agree with you. And you're not going to answer it with subjectivity. You're going to answer it with objectivity. You're going to answer it with data. How do you know they really did apply it? So that's the problem we get. So what happened to the productivity level? What happened to it? How do you know they really did apply it? And how did you get that? When you say productivity level, I can see productivity level on the chat box. What happened to the productivity level? That is one. How did you know? Whatever is that you want to tell me that happened to the productivity level, how did you know? From where did you get that data? That will be my next question. So if you can help me to answer that, I'll come back. Okay. So, but I'm asking for the training you did. So, because I'm saying use data to check if it has increased or not. I wanted a very real live example. So, from the training you've done, what did you do? Where did you get the data? How did you check the data? What was planned? That's the kind of conversation I wanted to have. So, thank you for those typing into chat. Thank you. So, let's move ahead. The reality, data never lies. You heard what Titi said. Titi said data is live. Data never lies. Oh, data will never lie. It is clear. That's what it is. It never lies. The statistics are there. They are stuck. They are clear. Most corporate training programs fail to drive the real change. I'm sure you will agree with me because you're seeing it in your organization. Now look at the following. Only 12% of employees apply new skills learned in training programs to their jobs. This was a research that was done. And this is what they got, the data they got after interviewing these people. 25% believe that their training measurably improved their performance. Just 25% out of 100% people that were interviewed. And this was gotten, this report was done by training industry. So you check the article, you will see it by training industry. And they surveyed many employees, and this was what they got. I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard of Emma Ebigans. It's a research. If you can look at it and just check him online, you can read up on the research. He said something. He said 75% of people, what they learn, they forget it within 6 days if they don't apply it. So if they learn something and they don't apply it within 6 days, they forget it. So go and read it up. Okay, Manuel just said he heard something recently. He said, Coach, I recently heard, and I think I've heard of it too, Emmanuel. Emmanuel said, Coach, I recently heard this. In God we trust, all others must bring data. It's the truth. Data doesn't lie. You bring your data. So if you've not read this Herman Ebbinghaus's research, please go and read it up. And just look at it. I would have said, no, you can get his name and you can check him up online. Read it up. And so that's what he said. He said, if you don't apply what you've learned, that in 6 days you forget it. So he did a research on memory and retention. And the research he said he was trying to demonstrate that human beings quickly forget almost everything they are told unless they apply it. I'm not just applying it. He said unless they apply it regularly. That human is a research, is well known when it comes to memory and retention. He said human beings, they quickly forget almost everything they are told. unless they apply it regularly. So how many of your trainings have given your employees the opportunity to apply regularly what they've been taught? How many? There was somebody that was telling me that she said that she went for a training, and when she came back, the boss told her, all those things you've learned, just keep it there. Come back and let us face the organization. Can you imagine? Why some people, someone was sent on Python training, Python and Power BI training. When the person came back, there was nothing for him to practice on Python and Power BI. What do you think will happen? How it came into his brain, it will fly away back. It will disappear. So you must create opportunity structures. And that's what TT is all about. TT is called Training Transfer Effectiveness. It is, you see it as I explain what it means. It looks as a sustainability. How to sustain the learning you got from your training, how to sustain it to ensure it keeps giving you returns, not just a one-off returns, rather it continues giving you more returns and returns. So this was where I got all this data from training industry, why many training programs fall short and how to fix them. That was where I got that report from. Leaders want proof. Is there any leader here that doesn't want proof? Is there anybody that is here that your CEO doesn't want proof? Management doesn't want proof? Is there anybody? There's nobody. All your leaders, they want proof. They want proof of the training that they are sending people. And that's what they want. They want proof. Are you showing them? Is there anybody that is bold enough to respond? Are you showing them the proof that every training is giving the organization returns? Return on investment and return on expectation. Are you showing them that? Leaders want evidence. Your leaders, they want evidence. They'll say, show me the evidence. Where is the evidence? You said that our employees are better. First of all, they ask, what is better? Where is the evidence of the better you're bettering? Where is the evidence? Are you showing them the evidence? Are you showing them the evidence? In today's economy, you will agree with me that leaders want proof that training is an investment, not an expense. Training is an investment, not an expense. And that's why, so that when they want to cut budget, they will not go to training budget. I'm sure you know this. In so many organizations, when the organization is constrained and they want to cut their budget, where do they go first to? Boom. They go first to training budget. Why? Because training, HR, L&D, you're not showing your value. They feel you're a cost center. I remove that clothing of cost center upon you. You are not a cost center. You are an investment center. You're not a cost center. You are bringing value to the business as HR, as L&D. You're bringing, as a trainer, a consultant, you're bringing value to the business. You are not a cost. So refuse to agree that you're a cost. So what is that proof? How can you prove to them that training is an investment, not an expense? This is the proof. It is ROI and ROE on your training investment. Return on investment and return on expectation. ROI looks at the numbers. ROI looks at the numbers. ROE looks at the expectations met. So I'm going to be faster. We just have 38 minutes. Let me go faster. ROI looks at the numbers. ROE looks at the expectations, management expectations, what the management wants. That's what ROE does. So return on investment, measurable financial gain compared to training cost. Return on expectation, the extent to which stakeholders' goals were met. That's what it is. Why are you not seeing the ROI and ROE on your training investment? Why? HR and L&D, why? Okay, question. Trainers, why? Consultants, why? Why are you not seeing ROI and ROE on the training investment? The floor is open. Very briefly, before I continue. I know that I have just less time, but I need you to answer this question. Why? Who wants to respond? You can type into chat. Anybody, somebody. These are people that have come to listen again today.
Hello.
Emmanuel to the rescue. Emmanuel, you must always come for this webinar because you're the one that keeps rescuing us in this webinar. Every Thursday, you must be here,
Oh,
whether you like it or not. Okay, Emmanuel, over to you.
thank you for the
Okay.
opportunity.
Yes, Emmanuel, please go ahead.
I think right from the beginning of the training, we don't have a benchmark. Most organizations, in fact, most of the organizations that I've consulted for, they just tell me that, in fact, from the time you started enlightening us on training transfer, they all let me know if I want to know why the training, whether training is the right intervention for their problem. They just tell me, just come and train. We have to meet. We have to. We have not trained them for some time now, so we need to train.
Yeah.
So there's money available for them to train. So right from the beginning, um, no measurement is made
Mm,
to really make the training um, yield results.
mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. And that's it. What Emmanuel saying is true. It's germane. That's what is happening. They have the budget. And you know that HR and L&D, you know what I'm saying. That if you don't finish your budget, next year they will cut your budget because you did not finish it. They feel, so that means you don't have anything to do. Next year, for instance, if they give you $50 million or Kenya or Naira or francs, wherever you are, whichever country, whatever currency you are in. If they give it to you and you don't finish it, next year they will cut it down. That's what some organizations do. So what HR and L&D do, they want to finish it, mostly, especially the end quarter. Now we're towards the last quarter of the year. By the time we enter into September, October, November, December, by the time we enter September, entering October, November, you will see training. Even especially the public sector, they are pumping out training. They are sending people on training. Then that's when we cash out as trainers. We cash out at the end, last quarter of the year. Because they want to do that. But for me, I've decided to distinguish myself. I don't do cashing out again. I cash out throughout the year. I don't cash out only at the end quarter. So if they come to me last quarter, they must follow this process. If they don't, no problem. Go to other people. There are other people that are willing to take you. So you're not seeing ROI and ROE. Emmanuel has given us the answer. Now let me ask you, do you know why? I'm sure you don't know why, but Emmanuel has helped you. Do you want to know why? I want to believe your answer is yes. Do you want to know why you're not seeing ROI and ROE? Do you want to know why? This is what I've come to tell you to, and this is what I've been telling you since. Go and watch all the videos. We have over 24 videos on our YouTube. Go and watch it. Go and watch it. This is the reason why you're not seeing ROI and ROE. What do you think is wrong with this house? Why is this house collapsing? Even this one, why is it collapsing? Why do you think it's collapsing? Is there anybody that wants to try? Why do you think it's collapsing? Who wants to try?
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Milka.
Can I give it a try?
Please go ahead.
One, it could be maybe the materials that have been used to construct are of poor quality.
Great.
The other thing could be maybe the ground on which the house has been constructed was not fit enough for construction.
That's good. Thank you so much, Milka. Milka, don't go away. Now, put this side by side with training, unable to see ROI and ROE. Why do you think in the organization this will be happening? Put it side by side. What you just said, put it side by side. Because what you said is germane.
Yeah, it could be that maybe the training was not, when they were doing the training needs assessment, maybe it did not match the training.
Mm, beautiful. That's a very
Yes.
good one, Milker. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you're on point. So let me buttress what you just said. You're on point. The problem starts when people assume that every performance issue training is the solution. That's when you have this kind of foundation. Because you send the wrong people to training. This will happen. You send the wrong people to a right training, or the right people to a wrong training. This will happen. You say that training is the problem when training is not the problem. I mean, training is the solution. When training is not the solution, this will happen. Just what Milka talked about, using the wrong materials, and maybe the foundation wasn't strong, what they use. This is it. This is what happens. So I see a lot of organizations, when they have issue, say send them on training, performance issue, after performance appraisal, and the line manager just things down. He will say it's for training next year. Training, send them on training, send them on training. No, you would have this. This will happen. You have a toxic environment. You have people that are not applying. You will not have ROI and ROE. So one of the models I developed, which is called the needs validation process, says before you send people on training, use this model to find out what exactly the problem is. Is it a training solution, intervention? Is it a non-training intervention? Is it an integrated approach? Let me be faster because I have a case study to share with us. Then at the end, when we train, we often focus on only delivery, which is the second phase of training. Don't forget, I said there are 3 phases of training: pre-training, during training, and post-training. A lot of people focus on the delivery. Delivery is the during training, and they forget the pre-training before the training and post-training after the training. Now, what exactly is training transfer effectiveness? We start from training effectiveness to training transfer and training transfer effectiveness. Training effectiveness just measures how well the training program achieved its training, the objectives. How well did this training we sent our staff on, how did it achieve the objectives? That's just what training effectiveness is. How well did it achieve the objectives? So for instance, maybe you send people on a financial modeling training, and after the post training, you expect that people should score 90%. And the employees, after the post training on the financial modeling course, they scored 90%. You've achieved the objective. The training was effective. That's what training effectiveness is. You do a customer service training and you expect people after the training, they should score 85% when they do the post evaluation, and they scored 85%. You've achieved the training. You want people to be able to define what communication is, effective communication is, and they are able to do it. The training has been met. The second one, which is training transfer. Now, the second one, which is training transfer, is that thing we wanted them to learn. Are they able to apply it? Did they apply it? Just give me a second. I was looking for, okay, I can't seem to find it now. Okay, so we can continue. Okay, I've seen it. I was looking for my laser pointer so you can see what I'm showing you. Now we're in the training transfer. So training transfer. So the training transfer, what the one training transfer does is, training transfer is looking at, were they able to apply the skills and the knowledge they learned on training? That's what training transfer is. So for instance, we say that when they come back, they are able to, maybe for a customer service training for the front desk, when they come back, the way to welcome clients when they come to the organization is, hello everyone, good morning sir, or good morning ma, my name is Alex, or my name is Sapsin, my name is Milker. Welcome to Milka Miner Limited. How may I help you? And when they come back, they start doing that. That's training transfer. They're applying it. They're doing it. That knowledge they learned, they're applying in the organization. The skills they've learned, they're applying it. That is training transfer. Now, will this give us an ROI and ROE? No, because sometimes it will not give us fully sustained, because sometimes they get tired, they stop applying it. But this is where we want you to be. Training transfer effectiveness. And what is it? Training transfer effectiveness is this continuous, sustained application whereby the application is reinforced, it is measured, it is monitored, it is sustained. It is reinforced, it is measured, it is monitored, it is sustained. That even after 3 months, 6 months, they are still doing it. They are still applying it. 9 months, they are still applying it. 1 year, they are still applying it because you've built in structures to make it sustainable. That is what training transfer effectiveness. Because the question we ask, is the learning applied consistently? That we are able to see a measurable business impact for the business. That is what I've been advocating for. And that is what I have been teaching and advocating in the whole. And that is why I'm in Rwanda. That is what I came to Rwanda to do. To advocate for it. To advocate that every business should show ROI and ROE for their training investment. And that's what I'm going around Africa doing. So wake up. This is what training transfer effectiveness. Are you ready to do that for your business? In summary, this is what it is. From training to impact, training effectiveness measures learning and engagement. Training transfer measures application on the job. Right? Training transfer effectiveness, which is where I am advocating for, measures sustained performance and business impact. Sustained performance and business impact. That is what training transfer effectiveness means. And this is a costly circle or failed training investments. The needs validation process is skipped because the performance issue, they said, is a training issue. Pre-training, no alignment with the business goals, no expectations set. During training is emphasized, no transfer mechanism. Post-training is weak, no reinforcement. Because post-training is when you do reinforcement, you do monitoring, you do measurement, you do manager support. All those things are in post-training. That's how you sustain it. That's how it will be able to work. It is very weak. And because of that, there's no business impact and training is seen as a cost. Can you see the circle? It's a costly circle of failed training investment. And this is what is happening in your organizations. This is what is happening. And this is what will continue to happen until people start doing the right thing. What's the solution? The solution is what I've told you. It's called what I call the MVP model and the PDP model, which is called the PDP Training Transfer Effectiveness Model, short for the PDP model. That is the solution. The two models, proprietary models, I designed. So it's our proprietary model. It is registered and copyrighted here in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, so that nobody will take it and say is their development, is their design, is their work. No, it is my work. Sandra Iheanacho, aka the Oracle. After 14 years of research, after 14 years of practice with organizations doing trial and error, failing, continue using using our clients as an example, using them as our trial and error to become better, to learn. So this is my work. It is my work, please. So how do we bridge the gap from training to real world application? This is a real life case study. A CEO approached us at the beginning of the year and asked us to train their staff on the following areas. Look at them. 5 areas. And when she did that, we told her that we will not, said we should give her a proposal. We told her we will not do that. We will have to carry out the needs validation process, which is the MVP model. She said no, that we should just bring the proposal and let us train. We said no, we will not do that. And because we're highly recommended, we highly recommended, she decided to go with us. Say yes. She went with us and we started with the needs validation process. And this is what the needs validation process does. The first thing it does is we have a conversation with the people that have asked for the training, which we did with the CEO. The second thing, we have a conversation with those that have been earmarked for those training, which we did with her employees. From the data we get from these two sets of people, we now come up with a root cause analysis. What is the root cause? Because a lot of people work on the symptoms and forget the root cause. If you're dealing with the symptoms, the root cause is still there. The problem will still be there. You go to the hospital, you tell the doctor that I'm having headache and I'm having body pains and I'm feeling cold. And the doctor said, okay, what is wrong with you is malaria, and gives you malaria medicine. Please, how many of you will allow that doctor to do that? How many? Oh, let me see. How many of you allowed the doctor to do that? You went to the hospital. I went to the doctor. You complained, I'm having a headache. I'm having cold. I'm shivering. And I have body pains. And the doctor said, I think what is wrong with you is malaria. And doctor prescribes malaria medicine and gives you. That doctor wants to kill you. Because the problem might not be malaria. It might be something else. The doctor wants to kill you. And so that's what organizations are doing. They are prescribing solutions to what, without finding out what the root causes. And that's what you're doing. And so the MVP model does what? Finds out the root cause of that performance issue. And this is what happens when you diagnose first. So let's show you what happened with the client. So this was what happened with the client. We have just 20 minutes more. Please, I hope I'm not going to ask you for extra time. Well, maybe I should be faster. This was the problem the client told us. So go through it. She said documentation was perceived as burdensome. There were no standard ways to document work. She said communications tools were misused or fragmented. She said staff were overwhelmed with frequent directive changes and the production team often reacts instead of planning. She said, okay, that's fine. We met with the employees. This is what your CEO is saying. What's your own? See what employee said. See the problem they came up with, what they told us. They said all those things their CEO is saying, most of those things are not their problem. Said this is their problem. That the SOE, they have SOPs that is existing, however, that they hardly use this, is inconsistently used. They have a Google Drive that is used, but there's no central protocol. Anybody can go into the Google Drive. There are some things that are hidden. There are some things they don't have access to. Remember the CEO said they are reactive. They're not told me, Madam, how can we be proactive? When anything we want, we must wait for the CEO. And when we cannot reach her, what happens? How can we be proactive? Tell us. If you ask me, who will I ask? They said communication is incomplete, rushed, or delayed. Sometimes they're waiting for the CEO. The CEO is not responding, or the CEO is responding and is rushing them, and they're not getting everything. They acknowledge that, of course, that they needed leadership and mentoring. They acknowledge that there was no HR person, that the tasks were shared amongst themselves informally. There was no HR person. So this person, you do vacation, you do payroll, you do this. They agreed on that. So with these two data, we went ahead to do a root cause analysis. And this was what we found out. You can see, these are symptoms. Don't deal with symptoms, deal with the root, the cause. Dig deeper. If you dig deeper, you will find the root cause of the problems. And that was what we did. And so when we dug deeper, this was what we found out. We found out that it was not just a knowledge and skill gap. Yes, we found out that out of those 5 things she asked for, there were 2 of them were knowledge and skill gap. We also found that there were structural and leadership issues that were also present. So these are non-training intervention. The company problems stem from unclear roles, lack of planning and accountability gaps. So we found out that they needed an integrated approach, a training intervention and a non-training intervention. That was what we found out. And that's what we offered to the clients. So you can imagine, so this is our analysis, which is the 4th step. They need our recommendation was an integrated approach. So we said, so under the training, we said we're going to do training on communication skills and leadership development. Then the non-training intervention, documentation systems, they will come up with how they document things. They have to get an HR management structures. Even though they don't get an HR staff, they can outsource their HR. then there should be a culture shift from reactive to proactive. How can that culture shift? The MD, the CEO needs to do her own part. So we did this. And guess what? Let me just tell you what happened. After this, the CEO did not even bother coming back to us on this one. Because we told her, you can do this. You don't need to pay anybody to do this. You know your you know your structures, you know your systems, you know your document. Document it, because as I was talking to them, they were already talking about the processes. I said, so document this and use it. Everybody follows the process. I'm summarizing the case study. It was more than this. Because of time, I'm looking at the time. That's what I'm summarizing. It was more than this. It's a full that I now use it. We use it as case study when we are teaching, because that was a case study for us, the organization. So you can imagine if we went ahead and obeyed and went with what the client wanted. You can imagine. So this was the outcome. We did MVP. MVP was validated, and our MVP proved critical for the results. There was validation. Clarity was achieved. The challenges were clearly defined. So clarity was achieved. There was goal alignment. The training objective matched the business needs. So there was alignment. There was staff engagement. Employees felt involved. They did not feel that someone was just telling them something. They felt involved. There was engagement. And last but not the least, there was cost avoidance. We saved the business from irrelevant training. Irrelevant training was avoided. So you can imagine, if we hadn't used the MVP model, what do you think will happen to this organization? GCL would have wasted money training the wrong things. And that's what is happening. But we said we've decided to distinguish ourselves. We decided to separate ourselves as a business. And we say, if you want us to come in to train, we will first do a diagnostic analysis. We must carry out the MVP, the needs validation process model. Now, let me tell you, there's a difference between our needs validation process model and training needs analysis. Now, come to think about it. Samson, please remind me. That is what we'll take. The webinar we'll take next week. So tell everybody you know, let them come. Let them come for this webinar next week. Because when I'm talking about the MVP, they call it the training needs analysis. No. Our MVP model is not a training needs analysis. Training needs analysis is quite different from our MVP model. Now, the training needs analysis comes after you've done MVP. That is when you start TNA. MVP, what is the primary aim of MVP? The primary aim of our model, the MVP model, is to detect through diagnosis, through the 4-step approach, is to detect if the performance issue or performance gap is a training intervention, a non-training intervention, or an integrated approach of like what we just saw with this company, GCL. It was an integrated approach. We've seen cases whereby we have one case now. One of our students in the mastermind, she's an L&D manager. She's in the mastermind course we are doing. She tried the MVP. And I'm telling you I've told her, write a case study. I want to use it in my class. I want to use it in this webinar. She did an MVP and carried out an MVP. Guess what? That department that was asking for training, they did not train again. When she did MVP, she found out that the problem was not training. She came and said, Coach, Sandra, the problem was not training. I said, oh, you would have gone to waste money and waste the organization's money to train. She said, she keeps saying, thank you so much for this mastermind that my eyes have been opened. I've learned so much. And I'm not giving you trying to hype. No, that's what it is. I'm not hyping anything. That is the reality. That's what is happening in the mastermind we are doing. So you can imagine the money that would have been wasted trading scrap, because we are trading the wrong issues. We are trading for training's sake. I am not doing that again. As an organization, we are not doing that again. Anybody that wants to work with us, Brand Consultant Limited, they must follow this process. We'll do the MVP to determine what the training intervention is. Is it a training? What intervention is? It a training intervention, a non-training intervention, or both a training and a non-training intervention? With that, we help you to save more. For this organization, we helped them save money. It is there. It is working. So that is what the MVP model does. So the MVP model tells you whether to train or not to train, or whether to use an integrated approach. The second model, which is our PDP model, which I'm going to share with you briefly and I'll wrap up. The PDP model tells you how to design training for transfer. That's what the PDP model does. How do you design training for transfer, which is the 3 phases? Our PDP model looks at the 3 phases. Okay, let me share the diagram with you so you see it. It looks at the 3 phases. The phase 1, the pre-training. The phase 2, the during training. The phase 3, the post-training. What does the pre do? The pre aligns and measures. Aligns everything you want to see in post is done in pre. You align and you measure. You have stakeholder engagement. You have conversations with those who have asked for the training before they kick off. You're writing out the expectations. You're coming up with the metrics. You're coming up with the KPIs. You're coming up with the behaviors. PCB. You're coming up with the behaviors, performance critical behaviors. I came up with that. It's called PCB. Samson, please type it in the chat box for them. PCB, performance critical behaviors. You're coming up with the behaviors you want people to exhibit when they come back from training. If you're sending someone on a leadership training, on a time management training, on a customer service training, on a finance training, what are the behaviors you want the person to exhibit when they come back? You're sending someone on a communication training where it has to do with report writing. What's the behaviors? What were the behaviors they were showing before they went for the training? Now, when they come back, what behaviors do you want them to be showing? You define it. It's called performance critical behavior. You define all those things. You define how they will be monitored, how they will be supported, how performance will be, the behaviors will be reinforced. You define all those things to the pre-stage. The during stage, you design based on the job. The challenges they are facing in the job, that is what you design. So when they go into the training, they practice those things. You use the problems in the organization as a practice, as a case studies. We did this with a client, and one of them say, this is you, Samson. Sandra, that is you. Titi, that is you. Milka, that is you. Said, do you know this person? I said, I don't know anybody. We told them we don't know anybody. We just use your problems and design a case study, because as an organization, we design our own case study. We use the problems of the client to design case study. We don't borrow case studies. All case studies we do, we design it by ourselves, because we already understand your problem. So we design a case study based on your problem. That's what during does. Then post is where we reinforce and track results. Post evaluation. The baseline data you took at the pre-phase, you're able to evaluate it at the post phase. So for instance, you say it was 20% and you want it to get to 30%. In the post phase, you're checking, have you gotten to 30%? If you've not gotten, that's the monitoring. If you've not gotten to 30%, we say we'll get to 30% in 3 months. And these are the things, 1, 2, 3, that we'll do to help us to get to 30% in 3 months. Now, this is the second month. We are still in 22%. Why are we not in 30%? What is stopping us? Should we go back? Should we change something? Should we tweak something? These are the conversations you have if you want to see return on investment and return on expectation for your training. Okay, I have just 8 minutes. Sandra, you need to stop now. So pre-training talks about strategic alignment, performance goals in line with the business goals of the business objectives of the business, in line with the why, in line with the outcome, in line with the readiness, the communication. That's pre. What does doing do? Doing is that you transfer the driven design. It has to do with the job relevance, the mapping, the engagement, the action mapping. You do action learning. Action learning, which is what we try to do at the end of our webinar. We do action learning. The post, I'm summarizing it now. Post, the manager support, structured application, structures to make sure people are applying what they've learned. You're measuring and tweaking and checking it. Then you're reinforcing, you're recognizing people. Maybe for those that do what they did, you recognize them. Maybe they win a gift. That company we trained, they did it. At the end of the month, they gave gift vouchers. They gave gift vouchers. So these are what happens in the PDP model. And so on this note, I'm coming to an end. And we say training transfer doesn't begin at the training room. It begins when everyone responsible for results agrees on what success should look like. And that is a quote by me, Sandra the Oracle, Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. And on this note, I want to ask, what will be your next line of action? Please don't go. Don't go yet. We are wrapping up now. Don't go. So we can take few announcements. What will be your next line of action? What will be your next line of action? Type into the chat box. What will be your next line of action? Or if you want to unmute your microphone, that will be fine. And I will always say, old ways won't open new doors. No. Old ways won't open new doors. Stop giving excuses. Stop giving excuses. Stop giving excuses. Let me bring my laser pointer. Stop giving excuses. You can see my laser pointer is in excuses. Stop giving excuses. Aim for results. No more excuses. Aim for results. Success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? And on this note, I just want to say, finally, be happy and feel good about yourself always. And on this note, I just want to say, thank you, everyone. I remain Sandra, the Oracle. Connect with me. My name is Coach Sandra Iheanacho, aka the Oracle, Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. That's my mobile number. That's my LinkedIn. That's my IG. And that's my X. I hardly use X and IG. It's more of LinkedIn. That's my email. And that's info. Connect with me on the social media. And the announcement I want to give, it is our big training, big conference, a conference that's never been done in the world before. Not in Africa, not in the world. It's called the International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference. It's holding in Lagos, Nigeria, November 13 and 14, 2025. A conference that's never been held before. Let us stop training waste in Africa. Let us lead the movement. It's going to be hybrid. So if you're in Tanzania, you're in Ghana, you're in Rwanda, you're in Burundi, you are in Kenya, and you cannot come because of flight fare, accommodation, feeding, no problem. Join us online. You don't need to come. Just join us online. Every experience, apart from the food, apart from the food and the drinks and everything we eat, every experience those on ground, physical, will get, you would also get it. So go and sign up. Do not waste time. Go and sign up. Go and sign up. This is where to sign up. I don't know if I should share because of time. There's no time. Maybe I'll do it. Samson, remind me next week. I will stop and share. Let them see we'll go to the website. Let them see it. And we'll show them where they can sign up next week, because we have just 4 minutes. So I don't want to take their time. So go and sign up. It's very, very affordable. Go and sign up. And these are some of the speakers. We are going to be having 22 speakers. These are some of the speakers that have confirmed, and the rest are going to confirm. And these are the opportunities you will get. All those certifications you saw me talking about, you can get it at a very reduced rate. And this is the mastermind I talked about. This is cohort 2. It is starting October 6th. It's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sign up. We also have a payment plan for those that want to pay. Starting from this August, you can pay 5 times. September, you can pay 4 times. So we have a payment plan to help you to be able to pay, because the fee is $1,500. So we look forward to having you. And on this note, what will be your next line of action? Old ways won't open new doors. As I usually say, success doesn't come cheap. Finally, be happy and feel good about yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I don't know, what other questions you may have for me before we go? We have 3 minutes. Yes. Let me clap for myself. I kept to time. We have 3 minutes to go. What are the questions you may have at this point in time? What are the questions you may have for me at this point in time? What are the questions? I know some persons don't ask questions. They wait for me to stop the video, the recording. So I'm going to stop the recording and I'll stay back like normal. I'll stay back for like 10, 15 minutes to take your questions because I've noticed that some persons like asking questions when we are not doing the recording, maybe because of the organization. They don't want things to be heard about the organization. So when I stop this recording, I'll wait behind as usual. Okay, Emmanuel, you want to ask a question? Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach. You've really enlightened us. I want to know organizations that may not have, the challenge I had following up, how do I ensure they reinforce those HR structures that will make the training now become transferable or will reflect in their performance? How can I help the HR who is willing?
Beautiful. From the beginning, even before you start the training. That's it. That's a PDP model. Before you even start the training, before you enter class, be it virtual class, be it physical class, before you start the training, all those things must be agreed and talked about. That's the only way. If not, they will not do it. You'll be chasing them like you were doing. So it must be agreed and must be talked about at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, I pray you have an HR person that is willing. So even if all those things are done and the line managers are willing, they would continue to whatever they've agreed they will do it. They will not stop doing it. So you have people that are willing to move, to do the things, to do the right things. With that, you won't have issues. Okay, so it's exactly 9:30 here in Rwanda. Why it is 8:30, no, 9:30 in Rwanda, yes, 8:30 in Nigeria, and 10:30 in Kenya. Oh, Milka, you're a darling. Thank you for staying behind. And as I wrap up, I think Sapsin said something. Let me just read what he said. Thank you very much, Coach. This is golden. Oh, thank you so much, Sapsin. We sincerely appreciate you. And on this, I just want to say good night, everyone. Have a beautiful night rest. I look forward to seeing you again next week, Thursday. Please remember to invite somebody. Tell them to come. Next week, what we are looking at is what MVP versus TNA. Are they the same thing? They are not the same thing. So we're going to be looking at it next week, Thursday. So tell somebody, invite somebody, watch the videos, tell them to come do something different next week. And we look forward to seeing you. And Milka said, thank you for this. It is really inspiring. Looking forward to the next session. Oh no, thank you so much, Milka. That's what we live for. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my staff. Thank you, Samson. Thank you, Dr. Chinyere. These are my staff, my colleagues. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Milka. Thank you, Samson. Thank you, Emmanuel. Good night, everyone. Bye.